Yeah, okay. Bit of a rough start there. I was talking to myself for probably the last 15 seconds of that countdown, and it turns out I didn't add myself to the stage. Wow. So I just realized, by the way, in the summertime, I'm a two shower guy. I'm a two shower guy. I mean, I'm up. I got to take a shower in the morning to wake up. Like six. No. I'm sorry. Up at 6 today. 6:30. Shower, out the door at 7:15. I had an 8 a.m. And then I usually like to work out in the morning, but I did a late workout. But regardless, I'm moving around. It's hot as fuck out there in the city. I mean, it's like a different kind of hot. People don't really understand this. People always used to say to me, "Oh, you're from Florida. You understand this kind of humidity." No, it's not the same. It's not the same. Hovey, you're up here in New York. Is anybody else in New York? Like and sub. What's up, BK? That's right. Does anybody else know what I'm talking about? It's especially if you're on the subway. I mean, I go out there and city bike all the time, but I take another shower when I get home. And I just realized I didn't put anything in my hair. I don't have my Pikkit hat on. I've got my Pikkit shirt, W Pikkit. Blue collar, ain't showering in the morning. Ooh, I like that. Oh, you bike. I get it. Yep. Yeah, it's fucking hot as dick. Exactly. So you guys understand. Hello, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. What is today? Wednesday, July 23rd. We're going to be talking some fantasy football. I'm very excited. Barty Bart, I hope you are as well. Shout out to your Browns. How you cut your hair since you shaved it? Well, I've been going. I went to a place to get just a cleanup and like a fade and blend the beard in and everything. I'm actually probably due for maybe one more, but you can kind of see that. I haven't gotten the hair. I usually just get the side, and then they just kind of like texture it. But I'm due for probably a haircut. Although today the hair is elevated. There's a lot of life in the hair, which also accentuate. You know what I look like? I fucking look like I have a. Remember those haircuts back in the day? High tops. Kind of looks like I have a high top, and my forehead is just foreheading. Like that's a full on 5 head. And you're welcome. You're welcome. I handed that to you on a silver platter to make that joke. Shave it again? Yeah, I'll do it. I'll shave it again. How many subs last time? 1,000? Fuck it. We'll do it again. Lancer, what's up, dude? How you doing? Listen, if you're in Twitch, I posted the link. It's pinned. Go click it. Come to the Pikkit YouTube channel. We're going to be hanging out here till about 6 o'clock. And I'm headed there, brother. Awesome. We'll see you soon, my man. Shave it again. Yep. Oh, look at my guy, Steak. Unemployed, so don't need a shower. W's. Steak. I'm looking forward to streaming with Steak tomorrow. I do have a flight. By the way, cheers. I've got a little Jack and Diet Coke. Oh, that's good. Breaking news. I might be getting back into whiskey. Also, I think I'm probably battling a cold. That's like coming on. When you kind of feel a cold coming, like it fucks with your sleep a little bit. I know I got this thing. You can feel it in your head. You kind of feel it right here. I'm pretty good at attacking these things, but lately in my old age, like when I get sick, I get sick. It knocks me out. I used to be able to do anything through a sickness. I never called out of work. I'd skip school in a fucking heartbeat, but I'd never call out of work. I was always working if I was sick. But now I can barely read a fucking article on like sports betting, or like a chapter in Warren Sharp's book. I'm just like, ugh. But anyways, I'm going to shut it down on Twitch. Thank you for coming in. Please come over to the Pikkit YouTube channel. We're going to be hanging out with Snowman, talking some fantasy football. It is hot as hell. Yeah, I'm not getting scammed again. It's full ball next time. Okay. That's not happening. And if it does, I'm not giving you a fucking 2-for-1 special. Okay. So enough with the scammer allegations. I'm shutting it down on Twitch, by the way. Twitter, you're next. I see you guys in Twitter. Got 133 heads that popped over in Twitter. Get over to the YouTube channel on the Pikkit Sports platform. Let me do that again. The Pikkit channel on YouTube. Okay. It's the link is pinned under the stream. I'm going to shut it down here and we're going to roll the rest of the show with Snowman. I'm going to bring him up here in a second. We're going to talk some fantasy football. I did download. No, I shouldn't say I downloaded. I signed up to Sleeper. Per the feedback, it sounded like that was probably the best route to go. I'll see what Snowman has to say. He's a big hold on one second, just make sure my mic's on. Yep. He's a big fantasy guy, so he'll lead the way because I'm not the biggest fantasy guy. I've been playing fantasy since I can remember. I used to play it on sportingnews.com. Okay, you guys probably don't even know what the fuck that is. Then it ended up being, I think Yahoo was pretty popular. There was one more website, and then I've just been doing ESPN. I was in like 3 leagues, then I trimmed it down to 2. Then I've just been doing 1, and I've been in some like a full-on sicko league. It's a dynasty league. One of my buddies is probably in here that's in the league. I mean, they're absolutely sick in the fucking head. We had contracts. You had draft capital. I mean, it was crazy. Auction's the way to go for me. If you want Snake, that's fine. I'll probably do Snake on the mock draft just because it's easier. Kyle, okay, you novice motherfucker, get over to the YouTube channel. Pikkit YouTube channel. The link is in my is in the Twitter stream. It's in the comments, okay? Auction aids, get the fuck out of here. The Snowman only draft former Indiana players. Hilarious. Well, I'm going to get him up here in a second. Also, there is baseball, and we do have to talk baseball. Hold on one second. What does that say? I'll be in Saratoga. Hold on one second. I just drove my car off a bridge. What is going on? I'll be in Saratoga. Oh, Kyle's in Saratoga, so he can't come to the Yankees game. All right. BK, can you stop texting me right now? And Kyle, you too, while I'm trying to fucking run a happy hour. I'm going to bring Snowman up. But before I do, I'm going to shut down on Twitch and Twitter. And we're going to be rolling exclusively on the Pikkit YouTube channel. Last time I'll tell you that, guys. All right. Without further ado, make sure you get familiar if you're not familiar with Snowman. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Degen?
Doing great. Hey, thanks for coming in on short notice. You know, I feel like you might be somewhat honored that I actually put it to a poll in my stream this morning. And I said, I'm in need of a guest for happy hour. And I put it between you and somebody else. And the chat actually voted. And you were the winner. So Snowman by the people. That's what this is. So thank you for showing up.
I'm not just somewhat honored. I'm actually incredibly honored. Thank you. Shout out to the Degen fans, the board review maniacs. We love to see it.
Yeah, we sure do. Thank you also for, by the way, I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or your Wi-Fi, but you are a little laggy. I don't know if you've had any issues or anything later today because you're usually streaming quite a bit. No? Maybe we'll just push through. It should be okay. Make sure to follow Snowman at Snowman_sports. W Snowman, Ian Parkhurst. Good to see you. Where's the drink, Snowman? That's right. Ron Ginsberg said W Snowman. The Chosen One said W Snowman.
Got the beer right here. What are you drinking on, Degen?
So you know what? I've actually this weekend I had a couple Jack and Diets or just some bourbon. Doesn't have to be Jack Daniels. Some whiskey cokes rather. What do you got? That looks good.
I got the Spotted Cow from Wisconsin. If you've ever heard of it, this is the most elite beer in the country, in my opinion. My favorite beer. They only sell it in Wisconsin, though. They must not like making money for some reason, but whenever I'm there, I always pick up some.
Well, cheers. And I have a story about that. So I've heard of Spotted Cow. I have never had Spotted Cow. Steak went to the draft this year, and he's not even the biggest beer guy. Likes beer. Okay. But if you see him out, most of the time he's going to be drinking a High Noon or a seltzer, then a Guinness, then Kona Big Wave. Okay. It's not his top choice. I just want to make that clear. Or tequila, big tequila guy. But he said Spotted Cow lived up to the hype. Very solid beer. I don't know why I thought it was like a stout, but it's not a stout. Oh,
no, it's like an ale. I'm kind of similar to Steak. I'm not like the biggest beer guy. Hello?
Yeah, you were lagging a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest beer guy normally that I go out. I'm lagging. I'm quitting out of everything besides the relevant shit that on my computer. If it's on my end, I think I should be okay. Though.
That's fine. Chat,
if you need to step out, I can reset my Wi-Fi for a second.
Is Snowman lagging for you guys? He's a little glitchy on my end. Home run parlay hit yet? St. Louis kid, hilarious. No, it has not. Miss you all, my friend. And yes, I've hit a few. Nice job. Snide, do we have proof there's actual alcohol in Degen's drink? Do you want me to go get the little mini Jack Daniels bottle? Why would I lie to you? If anything, listen, I'm battling a cold. This actually might help. Oh, and I put a lime in there too. Okay, he was lagging. All right, we're gonna get Snowman to reset here and see if he can come back. In the meantime, I am curious. Okay, first and foremost, thank you for joining, everybody. I hope that you're having a successful day. I was 1-2 on my baseball bets. I tried to see if I had any mojo, and I don't have any mojo. Okay. I thought the Marlins were going to be fake sharp, and I thought the Nationals would be the real sharp. opposite. And I think I also said I like the Cubs as my chalk play. And I thought the Angels would be the dog that would bark in the next wave. Opposite. Okay. So yeah, I just can't figure out MLB. However, I'm not done. I'm going to, I was going to ask for your permission, but you guys look like cousins. Very funny. He's pre-downloading porn. Very funny. When I needed you most, Bart. Very glitched. What's up, Sandage? Mini Jack Daniels bottles. You buy airplane bottles for home use? No, they're not nips. It's just like it's like a little, hold on. You know what? Just so I can beat the applications. What do you call this thing? Huh? What do you call this thing? Son of a bitch. You tell me. MLB is kanji. Time to enter football mode. Yep, good call on calling it fake sharp. Ah ha 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 ha. Listen, okay, Dylan Cease, not that guy anymore. I don't know why I have a tough time accepting that, but I do. Sandy Alcantara, every time I get on the opposite side of this motherfucker, he turns into vintage Sandy from when. That's right, Alan. Don't forget, Sandy Cy Young, 18-1. Had him. You're welcome. Oh, meme capper that, motherfucker. That's a handle of Jack Daniels. No, it is not, Kyle. That's a handle if you're freaking Barbie. How's the work documents today, Alan? Yes, I love that. Why don't you chirp Alan a little bit and less chirping me? But anyways, I got one guy that I got my eye on. I got one guy and one guy only. We're gonna look at the baseball board and then we're gonna talk some fantasy football. I would like you to know that. Hold on 1 second. I'm pulling up Pikkit right now. I would like you to know that despite going 1-2 in baseball today, I am not done. I'm not done, but I have, the Royals are up 8-4. Wow. Look at the Rockies 5-0. I knew when I was on Owner's Box today and fucking Sandy or Sura had, the Cardinals first 5 -0.5. And I liked it too. I knew that shit was not going to hit. So had to stay off of that. RIP to those guys. We got a couple games left and, looks like Snowman's back. Let's check and see how Snowman's connection is this time around. Snowman, much better.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but I can see you much better right off the bat.
Okay, perfect.
Crystal clear.
I reset my Wi-Fi, so it definitely was on my end. So
okay, all good. Hey, do you? I know just in case people here aren't familiar with you, you're pretty well versed in baseball, much more than I am. I know that you do a lot of the strikeout props, parlays. Do you do sides and totals as well?
I used to a ton back in the day. I mean, like you, I've been gambling a long time. Props are still very new in the world of betting. When I first started out, for the first probably 10 years I was gambling, the only game that they ever offered props for was the Super Bowl. That's it. No baseball props, period. And I just found a lot more success in other sports on sides and totals, and baseball I kept getting killed on. So now that they've been opening up props, I decided to focus more and more on there. And I think that's been showing some success over the last few years for sure.
Very well said, by the way. I totally forgot that that the prop market was primarily in the Super Bowl. Although my first introduction to props was in basketball. I'm not the biggest basketball fan anymore. I don't know if you still are, but I used to bet on the NBA and college basketball every single night. I was the idiot doing 10, 15 leg parlays for very, very insignificant amounts of money. Like I'm talking like, $3, $4, $5. I would mow my aunt's grass, get $60, and then I would go to my sportsbetting.com account, deposit 40 of it, and then just put like $5 bets out like crazy. And then the first market was NBA market. And I used to love team to score first, race to 10, race to 20. And always famously, Ben Wallace to miss his first free throw, laid the juice -155, an electric sweat back in the day. Anyways, I wanted to briefly go over the baseball board with you because I have a bet tonight. Before we talk some fantasy football, I'm very excited to hear your thoughts on that because I've had people in my chat asking me now, probably since last week when we're going to talk fantasy. But there are some baseball games tonight. It's kind of getting into the thick of the season. Do you have any props out there lingering on the later half of today's board?
I'm on pre-search strikeouts right now in the Milwaukee game.
Yep.
That's what he's currently at. He's at 3, so I need 2 more from him.
Okay.
And then I'm also on Luzardo over 6.5 for Philly tonight.
So Luzardo is going against the Red Sox. I, as a Rays fan, am hoping that the Red Sox continue to lose. They do have the hardest schedule in the second half of the season. Who's your baseball team, by the way? Do you have one?
Yeah, I'm a Cubs fan. Long-time Cubs fan. I'm I'm originally from Chicago, so all my professional teams lie there: Cubs, Bulls, Bears, Blackhawks,
Got it.
and then of course
Okay.
my Hoosiers for having gone there for school.
Okay. And then just out of curiosity, so with the Cubs right now, it looks like they are losing. And sorry, I thought the Cubs were going to be the chalk play in the afternoon that hit, which of course means that they're not going to. Just out of curiosity, because I heard people talking about the Cubs being legit contenders for the World Series, but they might need to add to their arsenal for pitching. Do you have anybody on your wish list for the trade deadline?
I would love to get Joe Ryan. I think he's been absolutely
Ooh.
dealing as of recent. Twins should definitely be selling. The Cubs, I think, absolutely need to go in and get one, if not two arms. I mean, Matthew Boyd is pitching phenomenally, but I don't know if I really trust anybody in the rotation outside of Boyd. So I would be interested to pick up two. I saw there were some Dylan Cease rumors today. Don't know how much I love that. People forget the Cubs initially had Dylan Cease and traded him for Jose Quintana. So now we can go trade a lot more to reacquire him in the first place. But I'd be on either him, even though, he's been kind of wild as of recent. He still has a lot of big game experience. And I think when it comes down to it, he and Ryan are probably the best two guys available on the market.
Yeah, fair enough. Joe Ryan, as a Rays fan, that one hits home because he's a rock solid pitcher. He looks like a good pitcher, is a good pitcher. Then we traded him for Nelson Cruz when we tried to make a run and we needed some power. That's what our lineup was lacking. And it didn't really work out. Turns out a 40-year-old Nelson Cruz for a young pitching prospect is not the recipe for success. Just look at these.
At least he didn't trade Fernando Tatis for James Shields.
Did the Cubs do that?
White Sox did that.
The White Sox did that. Oh my God! Wait, so was that after James Shields was a Ray or before he? That must have been after.
Probably after. It was not that long ago. It was right before Tatis got called up.
Holy shit. That's actually kind of one of the fun things in baseball. Like all of our teams are victims to it, but looking back on the trades that were awful, it's fun to do it when it's not your team,
right?
But like every team has a bad one. Shout out big game James. I don't know who you guys are talking about in the chat. Sounds like something the Guardians would do. Yeah. Speaking of Ciccone and Eflin, the Guardians are minus 125. I like the Guardians out of the break. I bet them in the A series and went 2-1. I stopped against the Orioles for some stupid reason. I kind of like them. Do you like Eflin or Ciccone? Do you like either of these pitchers, or are these guys you've had any success on betting, or are you staying away from them entirely?
Ciccone a couple times. I think he can go out and have some good performances. Hey, you're talking about do I want my team to trade for them? Not particularly.
No. Okay. No, back to the betting aspect of it.
Okay.
I didn't know if there was anything in particular. Just going over this board tonight that's worthy of getting down on, but not that I want to force anything. So I would like the Guardians though, if I'm playing that. Not that the chat necessarily cares, but that's probably the one thing that I've gotten right in baseball. Is it look like the Guardians are pretty. Their bats have woken up. I mean, they're scoring at an insane rate. I think 6 runs in 6 of their last 7 games. Keep an eye on the Guardians. Okay, so you're on Luzardo over K's against the Red Sox. Let me see here. You've got Giolito.
I will say the thing with Ciccone is, though, his last 2 starts have been pretty much the best of his career. He went into the 9th inning last game against the A's and 7 and 9 strikeouts the game before against Houston. Feels like he probably is due for like a letdown performance coming up pretty soon.
It would be very unfortunate if it happened to the fucking Orioles because I can't stand this stupid team. But yeah, I mean, typically last year, the success I had was kind of fading guys off of master classes, but it's kind of seemed this year that pitchers are following that up with another, 1 to 2 really good performances before they get blown up. So I'm having a tough time kind of finding that right spot.
Right.
So let me see.
And that's something I agree with also, especially when it comes to baseball, because how many times in the past could you be like, oh, well, this guy's on a 13-game hitting streak. He's due to, have a bad game. Well, he was probably due 4 games ago, and he'll be due each and every single game until it happens. And you can go broke chasing the due,
Very, very well said. Yeah, that's we talk about it all the time, catching the falling knife and like bounce back spots. That's another thing. I'm getting killed in player props, and what I was doing last year. This year early, it was working out pretty well, like riding the hot guys, the hot hitters. I just said that like an idiot. I'm gonna get chirped in chat.
Hey, listen, if you want to ride the hot guys, it's more power to you.
But riding the hot hitters was actually doing quite well. And how I used to think was you'd see a guy go like 0 for 5, 0 for 5, and you'd be like, okay, today's the day he's going to break out of the slump. So you would take like over 1.5 bases and he would go 1 for 5. So I'm done with that shit. All right. So Jesus Luzardo, if you're backing Jesus over strikeouts, does that mean you like the Phillies to win, just out of curiosity?
Not particularly. That's the thing I like about strikeouts in general is guys can go out and have a good strikeout performance and still kind of get blown up. Managers nowadays, they really only care about the pitch count, So it's not like how it used to be where if you give up, 5 or 6 runs in the early innings, you're going to get yanked. Honestly, nowadays, if you go up a bunch of runs early, that might even be more likely to keep you in because, well, you lost the game anyway. Why waste your bullpen? Why waste a bunch of valuable innings when you could save them for tomorrow or the next game when realistically speaking, you're not coming back from a 5 or 6 run deficit anyways. So for the most part, yes, and Luzardo for sure has had games where he's gotten blown up, but even in the games where he's gotten blown up and gotten taken out after 2 or 3 innings, he still goes 60, 65 pitches. For the most part, they're going to let him go 90 to 100 pitches, which should be 5 or 6 innings. And no matter how shitty he's pitching, he's still going to have the chance to get outs. And he is a high strikeout guy facing a team that is still top 10 in the league at striking out. So it's, yes, I would say more often than not, hopefully you would hope that a high strikeout performance correlates with a winning performance for your team. Mm-hmm. But that's not necessarily the case because pitchers are kind of, viewed independent of the rest of the team when it comes to their workload nowadays.
Yeah, and so I was curious what you liked in the matchup specifically. I mean, I just like Luzardo in general, so I'm not even factoring in who they're playing. But if you tell me any day of the week that you're betting on Luzardo over K's, I'm probably already going to like the bet. But the Red Sox. So again, as a Rays fan, Red Sox were like the hottest team in baseball going into the break. Coming out of the break, I am holding on to the fact that they are playing a very difficult schedule, the most difficult schedule, and I want them to crash and burn. And then hopefully either the Yankees or the Blue Jays will, fall off as well. But they've lost 4 of their last 5, and it looks like the bats are pretty cold. They've scored 1, 0, 6, 2, 1 in their last 5 games. So you said they're top 10 in strikeout rate. I was also curious, were you fading their cold streak offensively at all too, or is it just strictly matchup?
Yeah, more so strictly matchup.
Okay, totally understand. All right, I'm going to go real quick and talk about this White Sox game. If you've got nothing else on the board, then that's totally fine. We'll wrap it up and then we'll talk some fantasy. But
if you got anything you want, I will ride with. I will definitely sweat it out with you on stream.
Okay, today is the day. Listen, Javon, you know what you know. Snowman, do you have any idea what I'm about to tell you?
No.
Okay. Before I do, what are your thoughts on a pitcher named Taj Bradley? Be honest. It's not going to be good. I can already tell. I can already tell.
I have not been a fan of Taj.
Hold on. Wait a minute. You're not going to like Taj Bradley. Let me just mentally prepare myself. Go ahead.
I have not been a fan of Taj Bradley this season. I guess that's as nicely as I can put it right now.
That's fine. Yeah, it seems like you're really holding back. Okay, fair enough. Wait, you were not referring to Taj? What are you talking about?
Cast the plus 250, not Taj reference.
All right, listen. Last year, okay, when I found success with these pitching props, Taj Bradley was very, very good to me. And he was very good to us as a community, us as the chat, right?
The royal us.
I don't tell people to tail, all right? They can if they want to, and that's great. But I don't tell them to. You tail at your own discretion.
For sure.
But last year, Taj Bradley treated me very well. And we even made a command called Taj Day, okay? It was Taj Bradley Day. There was a stretch early last season where he went like 6 or 7 games going over his strikeout prop. Or we would take his under hits allowed or his over outs. It didn't matter. He was treating us very, very well. Okay. All documented, by the way. All documented. And then, you know the saying, buy the rumor, sell the news. You know what happens, Snowman? One day I wake up and I'm no longer the guy on the microphone telling people when it's Taj Bradley Day. I wake up to 2 DMs. I'm not going to name names. 2 DMs. And it said, hey, Degen, it's Taj Bradley Day. I started to get concerned. Okay. Now, do you bet golf?
Very rarely.
Okay, fair enough. Well, there's a guy I also like, his name's Sepp Straka. And sometimes when everybody's on Sepp Straka or these particular golfers who are like not elite, but they're pretty good, you get nervous because they got a lot of pressure. Okay. Taj Bradley could not handle the spotlight. Taj Bradley could not handle the other people saying it's Taj Bradley Day. He couldn't handle it. And he fell off a fucking cliff. All right. He did. I'm not overly biased. I will admit Taj has not looked good since early last year. However, he's showing some signs. Okay. Taj Bradley is showing some signs. Now, I want to just go ahead and pat myself on the back. I'm not a Rays fan that bets on my team every single game or bets on a player prop every single game. Do I do it often? Sure. Have I done it a lot this year? No, I have not. I can't tell you the last time I bet a Rays pitching prop. Don't look that up. Anyways, I'm looking at Taj Bradley, okay? And I'm looking at his last two starts. Javon, if you're still in here, please tell me if I'm wrong. He pitched magnificently against not just anyone. Against teams that know him. Boston on the road, Baltimore at home. These are teams that have his fucking number. Because the thing about Taj Bradley is when you see Taj Bradley, you know he throws a lot of junk. He throws a lot of time. He's not like Blake Snell necessarily, but if you're patient, he's going to give you pitches to hit. This guy, he was having a lot of trouble early in the season. He was getting him. He was allowing 2-3 earned runs in the first inning, throwing 28, 30 pitches. He's figured it out a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to be rock solid, but he's figured it out a little bit. And Snowman, I know you're probably not following the Rays like me, we need him now more than ever because we're getting inconsistent starts. The Rays don't know what they're going to do. They might be sellers. They might be buyers. They have to win this fucking game and win the series against the White Sox today. They have to. Okay. Taj is on the mound, on the bump, as people like to say. The White Sox have been pesky motherfuckers. Did you see what I retweeted from that Jay Kuda account, by the way? Phenomenal account. I don't know if you're familiar.
I don't think I saw
The White
that one.
Sox are the first team since, I forget the year, to win 4 straight road games, scoring like 8+ runs in 4 straight games. It's been very, very impressive. Now, they lost last night, so the Rays got even with them, which they very much needed to do. But my point is this. The White Sox bats have been hot. Fading, you're a pitcher guy. Betting on a pitcher against a hot lineup is not something that I'm super comfortable doing. But the White Sox swept the Pirates. They go on the road now in Tampa. They've been playing their ass off. It's hot as fuck down there. Okay. They're ready to probably get out of Tampa. They were 1-1 in the season. Maybe they went out last night and enjoyed themselves. Maybe they didn't. It doesn't matter. Taj Bradley goes on the mound today, and he has to step up for his team because he knows he's pitching for his fucking job. If he's not pitching well, he's going to go back down to AAA. He doesn't want to go down to AAA.
You think they can send him back down to AAA?
I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. I'm just saying, I hope that the fear of God is in his head. That's what I hope has happened. Okay. I don't know the ins and outs.
They got up with the fear of, hey, we'll put you on that White Sox plane back to Chicago. You can go play at the cell with them and we'll trade your ass to them.
Exactly. Like Aaron fucking Savale. Now listen, I'm really, really clinging on to everything I can, Snowman. But this has got to be the day Taj Bradley puts the city on his the city. I sound like such an idiot doing this. It's in Steinbrenner Ballpark, but he puts the team on his back and he pitches a fucking gem. We're not going to require the bats to do a lot, although maybe they will, because I don't know they're going against Jonathan Cannon. I don't know if this guy's worth a shit or not. I haven't been on Taj Bradley once this year. I don't think. Please, again, don't check my Pikkit, okay? But tonight's the night. Tonight is the night for Taj Bradley to have a legacy performance, because if it's not tonight, it's never. It's never.
I'm ready to run through a wall for Rays money line after that sell job. I got to be honest. I'm going to have to place that bet almost immediately. You know, I do see maybe a little bit of concern with the fact that I said earlier, just because the White Sox have scored a lot in a bunch of games in a row doesn't mean they're all of a sudden due to have a goose egg today. But I do agree with you. That's like, if you're the Rays, you can't lose a series to the White Sox and expect to make the playoffs. White Sox are still one of the worst teams in baseball, regardless of how hot they're playing right now.
Yeah.
So I definitely have no issues with Rays money line, especially because that means we don't have to bet Taj strikeouts, which is, his strikeout stuff has been way down this year. But if you want to get involved back him that way, I will join you on that one.
No, I have to do strikeouts.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this. Here's what I like too. The White Sox haven't seen him a lot. they're not familiar with Taj.
Mhm.
They've seen him a handful of times. I like that. I don't know if you like that. I like that. I think that's
love that.
advantage.
That's one of the reasons why I love betting on some of these rookie pitchers. Guys like Burns, Vizarowski, Skeens last season. We see them regardless of the matchup. There's only so much that you can watch on film before you. But if you've never gone in the box against these guys, it'll take you an at bat or two to get used to how they throw the ball. And especially for these young fireballers, I agree. The first time matchups, absolutely great stuff. Another reason why I kind of like Luzardo, he's been in the National League East his entire career. Not a ton of experience against Boston. I think only 3 guys in today's lineup have even seen him.
Love it. So basically what you're saying is one of Snowman's pieces of his puzzle, something you put in your algorithm. I don't even know if you have an algorithm. Your model.
It's right here. It's all right there.
Is familiarity with a lineup against a pitcher. And what I just told you is the White Sox have no familiarity with Taj. And you're telling me you like that.
I do. But
you don't
I will
like
say
Taj.
as a caveat, it is better for a guy who has more overwhelming stuff than a guy who's a little bit more placement focused like Taj.
Fair. His strikeouts have been way down. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But he's been pitching very well. He's back up to 6-5 in his last 2 starts. And again, these are with guys in lineups like the Red Sox and the Orioles who are familiar with him within the division. So I'm going to take a shot. Last game, you're getting out of Tampa. You had your 6th game in a row on the road.
You already went out party Tuesday night in Tampa. They got their fun out of the way. Is Tuesday night a big night in Tampa for going out?
You know what? I can't tell you. When I did work in the service industry in Orlando, we did know people in Tampa. Here's what I'll say about Tampa. It doesn't matter what night of the week it is, they're probably out partying. That there's a lot of bars, there's a lot of drinking, there's a lot of partying. And I'd have to imagine if you're a young player or team on the Chicago White Sox and you're in Tampa for a couple days, you're going to find a night to have fun. And what if you haven't done it yet? You got your win in game 1, you grinded out in game two. What do you need to do today?
By the way, I love this narrative because I use this a lot in college sports, right? I'm like, come on, if you're a successful, good-looking, young college kid making your only visit to the University of Arizona, your only visit to LA for the year, you think you're sitting in your hotel room the entire time when Instagram DMs are right there. Yeah. So I love the narrative. I just want to, ensure that they're not just, the White Sox players, I could see them kind of sitting around the hotel,
Okay. So that's all I really wanted to lean into for the rest of the slate. I think that it's an intriguing matchup between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Doesn't really sound like you have anything. I don't really have anything either. I did look at the rest of the board. But I do want to just tell people I don't know how else to bet Taj today because I can't do it. I mean, I maybe could do under earned runs. I guess maybe I could do hits allowed, record a win, outs. But honestly, like what I really, really just love and what feels right, because that's how we did it early last season. We were successful, were the strikeouts. So I have a fucking strikeout guy here today I'm talking with. I mean, it kind of honestly, so man, the stars are aligning. So over 9.5 strikeouts is 18-1. 8.5 is 10-1. I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm going to have money on it. I don't know how much, not a significant amount of money, maybe $25, $30, but I'll probably have 1.5 units on at least.
What's the recent bullpen expenditure been like for the Rays? Do they need Taj to go 6-7 innings?
Actually, yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I do believe I want to say one of their better bullpen guys, Edwin Uceta, pitched. Javon, please correct me if I'm wrong. 2 innings last night, and it was not easy. They won the game by 1 run. Their bullpen's been shaky as shit in general. They don't want to have to go to the pen. They need the pen every night. Yeah, well, I mean, but hopefully, because we did this with Ryan Pepiot's over outs not that long ago. Like the top guys are probably spent. The pen.
Each of the last 2 starts, I'm looking now. Baz only went 4 innings 2 days ago, and Rasmussen only went 4 last night. So they would definitely like to get 6 from Taj. Maybe that's the play. Taj over 17.5 outs.
It is, but I have to just tell you the God's honest truth that doesn't get my juices going.
It's true. Nothing's exciting as the case.
Tonight. Okay. Do you think that if a pitcher has to go deep, does that do anything to take away from the K?
No, I think that's a good thing. You can't get Ks if you're out of the game.
Right. But I guess I'm wondering if you have to be in the game 6+ innings, are you trying to throw ground balls? No, right?
Maybe depends on the guy. I think we've
All right.
seen Skeens maybe recently try to pitch a little bit more to contact for things like that. They've also been cutting his pitch count pretty significantly. For a guy like Taj, I don't think it's going to be too different. I think he'll probably just try to do his normal stuff because, again, I mean, he normally does try to want to induce weak contact to begin with, you know?
Right.
So he can't really go above that. That's normally what he does.
Yeah. If you're taking it as Taj Day to go all the way, just fucking play both. Yeah. Okay. All right. No, it hasn't been 40 minutes of Taj Lays. Please stop that. It's probably been about 10. I see that the bitching is going heavily right now. That's fine. Well, Snowman, thank you for entertaining that conversation because I've been down in the dumps. I can't get right in MLB, but I'm going to tell you right now, my Hail Mary is tonight. This feels like the right spot. I'm going to bet Taj Bradley. And here's what I've decided. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the over outs because it sounds like it's a smart bet. All right. I'm not a smart guy, but I should probably make a smart bet with my money. I'm going to take the White Sox first 5 team total under. Okay. Maybe it's 1.5. Maybe it's a half. I don't know. I'll find out. Okay. I'm going to ladder the case. I just am. I'm going to take over 5.5 strikeouts at +110. I'm going to take over 6.5. I'm going to take over 7.5. I'm going to take over 8.5 at 10-1. That's probably what I'll do. Okay. If Christopher Sanchez can get 12 Ks the other night, why can't Taj Bradley? I mean,
very true. I mean, we've seen Bryce Elder get double-digit strikeouts at some points this year.
It's like it hurts that you just said that, but also it kind of in a weird way does make me feel like this bet has a better chance of hitting. Last question, because you know stats. Do the White Sox strike out? Is this a team that you like to target for K props or not necessarily?
Generally speaking, yes.
Okay.
I think they're definitely a top half team.
Come on. Come the fuck on. The stars were aligning. I don't give a shit what any of these fucking assholes have to say in the chat. I am tuning you guys out. All I'm hearing right now, go ahead.
I always say this when people ask me questions about betting. I always say, if you have a lot of conviction in a bet, don't listen to what anyone else says. Just ride with it. At the end of the day, especially if it's just a straight bet, like you got a 50-50 chance regardless, according to the odds. The books are taking their cut via juice anyway. So if you really believe in a bet, like this passionately, you have to ride with it. So I fucking love it.
Yeah. Yeah. It just so the caveat to your caveat is that I have felt this way so many times. and when you do this and you bet it and you don't listen to what anybody says and you lose, and then the next day you get on a stream and you have 55 comments before you even have your fucking first scrambled egg that you're an idiot. That's when you start to try to think, every which way possible before you go in. But you're right. I'm going tunnel vision. This is my Hail Mary. In Taj, I trust. I'm not going to say we. I'm not going to say we. Javon's over here. He gave up on Taj. You fucking traitor asshole. Javon, that was Snowman's nice way of telling you Taj is a shit wager. I can't believe this. Taj is already thrown in Javon's throwing in the towel on Taj. This motherfucker. Taj has no supporters left. That's when I want him. Okay. End scene. No more Taj talk. I will not make you suffer through another 48 minutes. Snowman, I want to talk fantasy football. And I want to talk fantasy football because the chat wants to talk fantasy football. They've been chapping my ass to start talking fantasy football. I am not the biggest fantasy guy. I talked about this a little bit before, and I just want to make this very clear. When it comes to Sundays, or how about this, the week in general with football, my primary focus is both college and the NFL. And what I really try to do is I look at the board, I look at the lines, I'm thinking spreads, I'm thinking totals, I'm thinking narratives. And I really, we started to joke around with it last year as like master classes, like who's going off, a game script. I just started doing these game script videos, which have been fun. Like, what are teams going to do? How are they going to come out the first quarter and attack and whatnot? I am the guy that makes 0 moves all season. I never look at the waiver wire. I don't say yes to any trades, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then I remember to set my lineup at like 11:45 on Sunday morning. And if there's a fucking London game, I'm screwed. Okay. However, here's the thing. I am very good at drafting guys. Now I do play auction. I'm not Snake anymore. My league swears by auction, and I've learned to love it. I have learned to love it, but I'm
fully in agreement, by the way. My main leagues have been auctions for 10 plus years. It's such a better experience than Snake. I can't even begin to explain.
I agree. And where I really thrive is finding the value.
Mhm.
And in this league, so I've gone to the championship 3 out of the last 5 years, which I have not won. Okay. Don't even get me started because I benched Jared Goff for Kyler Murray last year when he played in LA against the Rams. I thought he was going to go off and that lost me the game. But my opponent was worthy. He's good. He's a sicko. He listens to all the podcasts and does all the fucking mock drafts, everything like that. Kudos to Tim if you're in here right now watching. You deserved it. But dating back to when Mark Ingram was on the Ravens. I don't know if you remember this, but Mark Ingram was, in my opinion, a hardball guy, and nobody wanted him. He was left for dead. In my auction draft, I think he went for like $6, which for a running back is not very much money.
Not at all.
Last year, I think I got maybe 2 years ago, Kyron Williams for very, very cheap. And the reason why I knew he was a dog is because I watched him at Notre Dame. Nobody wanted Jameson Williams last year for the Lions. Love Jameson Williams, like what he could do in Ben Johnson's offense. Every year it changes. You try to find the right fit. You try to find guys who in auction are going to be cheap or in snake are going to go late, right? That's what we're really after. But at the same time, I always like to have a guy, one or two really, really good top players that you can kind of lean on. That's how I like to build my draft, build my roster. So I asked you if you were a fantasy guy. You said that was your gateway to gambling, which is so true. Give me your background on fantasy. Are you a sicko? Are you in multiple leagues? Or how do you roll?
I'm in way too many leagues now. I'm trying to figure out this year which ones to cut because I'm like, I can't continue to. I'm in like 6 different leagues. It's just way too many to keep track of.
Yeah, I hate it.
And it's like,
because you're rooting for everybody.
Right. It's like I'm in a league like with my friends from high school. I'm in a league with my friends from college. I'm in a league with people from
Keep talking.
the stream and all these different variant leagues that have been going on for 10 plus years. And it's just like, it's just too hard to keep track of it all. So, I've been playing fantasy for a long time. It was kind of, the gateway to gambling, as I mentioned earlier, because, we're just like kids in elementary school, middle school, playing in a fantasy sports league. But I would say, when it comes to auction, I definitely think that's my preferred strategy or my preferred draft style because it involves so much more strategy from, a player's perspective. Like if you're in a snake draft and you get the 10th, 11th pick, you have no chance of getting a Bijan Robinson or a Jamar Chase. And let's say you believe that Jamar Chase is like by far and away the number 1 pick this year. You can go get him in auction. You can spend as much as you want and make sure that you get the guys that you target. Likewise, you could say, you know what? I'm going to pull back. I'm not going to draft any players in the first 30, save all my money, and then snipe like 6 or 7 guys in that mid-tier range. That's a strategy I like to do pretty often. I think it just gives you a lot more control over, the type of team you want to build and not just necessarily be like, well, I think that this guy would be a good pick in the next round, but not this round. So I have to reach. You'd be like, well, I specifically think that this guy should be 37 auction dollars versus 38 auction dollars versus 12 auction dollars.
Yeah, well said. And I missed it though. How many teams are you on now?
Too many. I'm in like 6 different leagues. I'm trying to figure out a couple
to
cut
cut
out
on
of.
6. I thought you said you were on 6 and it's too many, but you still do 6 because you probably have a hard time saying no.
Well, I've been in some of these leagues for like 10 years and it's just like, it just feels bad, actually cutting some of them, but I kind of got to pull the plug. I think it's just too much to keep track.
Have you done any mock drafts?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
One of our leagues is already drafted. I'm in a dynasty league where you keep every player every season. Yep. So the only players you draft are rookies. So we just had kind of like an unlimited clock where, once one person makes their pick, the other one does. So take as much time as you need. And it's only like a 4-round draft of rookies. So it's already over.
Well, what I wanted to do by the suggestion of the chat and the people who are itching for fantasy football was run through a mock draft and kind of see where players are getting taken, if they're getting a little too high, if they're going too late, and where your opinion is at with some of these guys. All right. Well, what does this say? Oh my God. Yeah. Kyle's a sicko. Kyle's an absolute sicko. 175 mock drafts. So, okay. Please bear with me. I'm on that's weird. 10 team. I could have sworn I selected 12. Too late to go back now. So 10-team standard snake. I figured this was the easiest way to do it. Snowman,
I think this is the most common league setting. So this is probably the best one to go with.
Okay.
Anyways.
Have you ever used Sleeper? I've never used Sleeper.
Yeah. So that dynasty league that I'm in is on Sleeper. I've used a few different apps. Yahoo was the big one back in the day. I'm still on a couple Yahoo. I still think that's the best website to use. But in terms of the apps, Sleeper does a very, very good job. It's very good UI, easy to use. There's chat rooms. You could talk shit. The draft setting is good. I think ESPN has done a horrible job for the 20 plus years I've been doing fantasy.
So if I copy this link, people are saying that I can invite them right now.
I believe so. If you're going to get custom mock draft lobby.
I thought I was just going to I thought the computer was going to draft. Is that not what's going to happen, chat?
No, I think usually the mock drafts have other people in it.
Oh, is that what I should do? Okay, if you guys tell me to do it, then I'm going to do it. Very analytical driven too. Sleepers numbers are elite. Hold on, let me test this real quick. Kyle, I'm going to test. There's the sleeper invite. Snowman, I should probably obviously invite you. Go to your DMs real quick. Let's get this started up. I think we have plenty of time. It's only 5:20. It will be computer if you don't drop the link. Oh, I got you. Okay. If you hit that link in the DMs, tell me what it says and if it worked. I've never done
just brought me to the mock draft. I can claim a spot. I'll take the wraparound. I'm in.
Okay. Oh, you're in. I think it's auto pick, but others can join. Everybody's saying put it in Discord. Why would I put it in Discord? Why wouldn't I just put it here? Let's do this. Sleeper draft. Yep. All right. Go click that link. Come on in. All right. Snowman's in. So
make
I
sure
have
you
to
claim your spot, Degen. Yeah, make sure you claim your spot.
Yeah.
Before everyone else does.
All right. I just claimed. I'm the first pick. How did that happen? Okay. I don't know that you want the first pick. Or where do you like to be on a snake draft?
In a snake draft, I like to be at the last spot.
Yeah, because you kind of double dip. Wow, this is filling up fast. All right, Pranav.
I feel a lot better about reaching in the last spot too, because like if you have 20 picks to go between your spots, it's like, you know what, if I really like a guy, then I can secure him here and not even have to worry about it being a reach because I'm not picking for 18 picks anyways.
Right.
Plus you get two of the top 11 players, you know?
Okay, I need two more. Volunteers. This is so funny. I feel like have you seen The Prestige? You seem like a guy who likes good movies.
Love The Prestige.
Oh, great movie.
Seen it many times.
Yeah, it seems like all right, come on, we need one more. Somebody click the link. Shout out to DC Bets, Alex Farf, sorry. Team 4. I need somebody on Team 4.
Jake Who Bradshaw. Will step up and be Team 4?
Who wants to be Team 4? Snowman's at the end, that son of a bitch. I need somebody at Team 4. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Do I need to drop the link one more time? I can also put it in the Discord if nobody else wants to do one. And there it is. Hovey's in. All right. So we're going to do this mock draft and let's see what we learned from it. So now I'm going to click start draft. Are you sure you want to start the draft? Okay. All right, here we go. I'm not going Jamar Chase number 1. I'm not going Saquon Barkley number 1.
So normally when you have the 1 pick, do you think like you have to take a running back no matter what? What's your mindset when you have the number 1 pick?
Yeah, I do lean running back. Maybe I shouldn't, but I do. What's the time limit on this thing, by the way?
I would guess unlimited.
Oh, that's not good. Motherfuckers can't be taken forever, although I guess I'm kind of doing that. You know what? I'm going to go Bijan. I think it's the year of Bijan. All right, DC, you're up.
Also, what's your feeling about 1 quarterback leagues versus 2 quarterback leagues? I have a very strong opinion about this.
So I played in a 2 QB league for 3 years. I hated it. Do you agree or disagree?
I outright refuse to join 1 QB leagues.
Oh, you're a 2 QB guy.
I don't think there's any world that should say like, you know, Rashee Rice gets picked above a Patrick Mahomes. How does that make any sense when you're building a fantasy football team? Quarterback's the most important position in fantasy. And when you're in a 2 QB league, all of a sudden quarterback becomes an incredibly valuable resource. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, these are guys that we should be trying to incentivize being drafted earlier. Not like, you know, you could take Joe Burrow in the 6th round. That makes no sense.
Here's the pushback that I'll give you. So one of the years when I went to the championship, and I like to do this now to fuck with people because I just remind them of my fantasy glory that still doesn't have any championships, but I'm going to do it to be obnoxious. We had a 2 QB. It was a 2 QB league. And in the 2nd QB slot was fucking Ryan Fitzpatrick against Andy Dalton. It was the Bengals against the Dolphins.
I've had to start TJ Yates in championships.
That sucks.
I've had to start Tim Tebow in championships. It is the most elite way you can play fantasy football. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That. That's okay. Listen, it gets fun when you have to really try to find like a gem of a backup. But then, like, there were times where I don't know, man. Fuck it. You know, Tyrod Taylor is like the creme de la creme of backup quarterbacks for, I guess you could say, in fantasy. But there are just some really awful Duck Hodges. You know, oh, give me a fucking break. No, I couldn't do it. Pranav, this isn't for real. What's taking you so long, Pranav? Let's go. All right, but hold on. Let's see what we're doing here. Bijan, I went 1. Jamar Chase 2. Saquon 3. Gibbs 4. I like Gibbs. Nice pick, Hovey. Justin Jefferson went 5. CeeDee Lamb 6. Okay. Oh, Amon-Ra St. Brown is going that high. 7. 2 Lions.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing 6 receivers now go in the top 9. And when I look at the running backs available, after this, it's Derrick Henry, Devin Achane, Genty, McCaffrey, Bucky Irving. It definitely seems like these 3 running backs are kind of a tier above everybody else. I do think that there is one running back who can get to that tier, the man I'm taking with my pick here. I think you know exactly who it is, from Boise State University. Got to go Genty. I think he's got to be a guy that you look at, especially at the wraparound. Like, he's certainly not going to be available there. So maybe it might be a slight reach, but I'm honestly kind of surprised he lasted this far as a guy who's going to be a huge bell cow back. And then I like Nico Collins. I hate the University of Michigan, but Tank Dell is injured. Stephon Diggs is gone. He's got so much opportunity ahead of him that I definitely think of the guys left, I would go with him at this spot here. So I'm going Genty and Collins for the mock draft right here.
Okay. Have to reach when you're on the wraparound. Yeah, should have done a 20-second clock. Hey, how do I do that? Can I change it now or no? I'm not super familiar with Sleeper or how any of this works. If I can, I can't. That's totally fine. Chat, does anybody know? You guys are probably better with this. Pranav, good pick, by the way. I like Puka Nacua. That's my offensive player of the year. Snowman, 16-1. What did Michigan ever do to Indiana? Well, I mean, I hated the Patriots, the Dodgers, the Cowboys, the Lakers. They never really did anything to my teams.
Purdue is too pathetic to hate on. They've never done anything in any sport. They have 0 national championships in basketball. Football, they're an absolute joke. It feels too bad to root against them. I'd rather root for teams who are up top. And honestly, I grew up in Chicago, and that was kind of the powerhouse franchise, or the powerhouse program at the time in college, especially here. There wasn't like a ton of Ohio State fans in the area. Michigan was probably the predominant bandwagon team. So just kind of always been against them. And then going to IU, I'm like, you know what? It's always fuck Michigan. No offense to Michigan.
I love it. Okay. So just to recap real quick where everybody's at, this is kind of interesting. So Kay Hewitt is the guy who's a very, very smart fantasy guy. He was on the happy hour a couple weeks ago with BK talking fantasy. People had a lot of questions for him. I thought he had some good answers. He went receiver. Do you have any thoughts on going double receiver in the 1-2 pick? I don't like that strategy.
I used to be a proponent of 0 RB, which was a kind of a draft strategy where you just ignore running back to the 6th, 7th round, and you focus on everything else, with the theory kind of being running back is the position that gets hurt most throughout the year. So there's always people available on the waiver wire. And, you're just going to have more opportunities to get a random running back who steps up and is a contributor member of the team versus any other position. So I used to do that pretty heavily. And also kind of how the board presents itself. I think Brian Thomas is a great pick there compared to Jonathan Taylor or Bucky Irving, the only other 2 running backs who have gone. Yeah. I have no issues with going with Brian Thomas, who was an absolute stud last year and should only continue to get better in this Jaguars offense.
I'm looking at some of these. There's another 2 wide receiver duo here. DC Betts, who's a ball knower. He went Jamar Chase and AJ Brown. That's pretty good. Alex is Saquon and Drake, Jamar Gibbs and Bucky Irving. Hovey, I like that team, by the way. Jake is Jonathan Taylor, Justin Jefferson. That's a nice 1-2. Obviously every 1-2 is going to be pretty solid. Puka Nacua and CMC. That's excellent. You're Nico Collins and Genty. You got to be do you think that Genty being in the top 10 is a reach, or do you think that's probably where he's going to go? And Kyle, please feel free to answer.
I think 10 is a steal for Genty. I think normally he goes before that in most drafts.
He probably could go before Neighbors or St. Brown, right? So he could probably go 6. Wanted to take Brock there, but needed a running back. Yeah, CMC is scary. Yeah, I don't really know Josh Allen and Ladd, huh? Care to comment on that? Yeah, I think Ladd McConkey. Look, I like Justin Herbert this year in terms of year 2 with John Harbaugh. I always do that. No, Jim, sorry. Again, I always do that. A great offensive line. And I'm just not seeing any of these weapons that I think is going to take away from Ladd's target share. I just think he's going to continue to be that guy. That's the go-to. And I think he's going to have multiple games with 8 to 10 catches, 100+ yards, and probably more than 1 score. So I'm big on Ladd McConkey this year. However, I will say I did think about Brock Bowers, but I'll go wide receiver first. And then Josh Allen, I don't know. I mean, I probably if I gave it a little bit more thought, is that the guy? Would I have waited on quarterback and gone somewhere else? Yeah. But he was just staring at me and I was like, ooh, Bijan and Josh Allen sounds nice. But I don't know how well, there's Jane Daniels. I was just going to say how late you could get Jane Daniels, but looks like late third round. If I was to look at quarterback, yeah, I mean, there's some pretty good options. Jordan Love might have a good year this year. We were just talking about him if he's healthy. I'm big on Dak. So I don't really love going Josh Allen there. Let's see where you're doing. All right. So you're Tyreek Hill.
I'm taking Tyreek Hill. I don't
Yep.
want to go quarterback here. Again, in a 1 QB league, I would much rather wait. I mean, again, we got guys, Lamar, Hurts, Burrow, Mahomes, all still available. Even if you want, I think with quarterback and even tight end in a 1 QB league, you either want to be first or last, because maybe not necessarily last, but the tight end especially, like if you don't get Bowers, I'd almost rather wait and try to get a guy at a much cheaper price.
Yeah.
I was always the guy who was going after Gronk early in drafts. I'm like, you know what? Gronk is like by far the best tight end. I want to just get him every single time and then not have to worry about it for the rest of the season.
Chat can't believe you're not picking Lamar Jackson right now.
Yeah, I don't want to take Jackson right here. I want to go another receiver here. You
want another receiver?
Mm-hmm.
Tua had some interesting words for Reek today. Huh.
I'll go Garrett Wilson. I hate Aaron Rodgers as a Bears fan. But now that he's gone and they got Justin Fields available, I think that Devontae Adams leaving should give it up a lot more opportunity because we know that Rodgers likes to just feed one guy. And that was Wilson early on before they got Adams. Got rid of him, or once they got Adams, they didn't really look his way. Now that Wilson's back to being the number one guy, sure, Fields is going to be a rush-heavy approach, but I think that Wilson's going to get fed. Let's not forget Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields played together at Ohio State. They have that connection dating back several years.
Oh, look at the old Big Ten knowledge showing up when it matters in fantasy football. Pranav with Maserati.
I don't remember those QB connections.
I got to tell you, and I'm not just saying this because Pranav is Pikkit co-founder, and this is our sponsor in the channel that we're on. I love Pranav's team. Puka Nacua.
Even though he's taking Ohio State guys and Marvin Harrison? Come on, Pranav. Come on.
Where is the loyalty, Pranav? Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that. I think this has got to be a big year for Marvin Harrison. I mean, the talent is undeniable. He's a freak of a player. It was weird, like him and God, why am I blanking? I almost said Kyrie. Kyler Murray could not get on the same page last year. I think they have to this year. So I would have no problem buying Marvin Harrison stock. Jane Daniels, high. I'm high on Jane Daniels. There's reasons to be concerned about Jane Daniels in the Commanders for regression. I understand that. CMC, I mean, the health concerns, sure. And then I think Puka Nacua is going to be the offensive player of the year. I like this team. This is interesting.
I would say my comment on Pranav's team right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's either winning the league or getting dead last.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair because I think he's probably going to win. What do you think about this guy's team, Higher Destiny? He's got 3 receivers and a running back, Amon-Ra Brown, T. Higgins, Mike Evans, and Derrick Henry. That's like sneaky good? Or is that meh?
I all these guys I like individually. My main concern is that, they're all on teams that have a lot of mouths to feed. I mean, Henry, of course, is a stud running back, but you got Lamar, who's going to be taking away some of the rush opportunities from him. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who they still have that kind of, double-headed backfield monster. Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta. Higgins is the number 2 receiver outright. Evans, how many guys they have down in Tampa. Even when Chris Godwin is out, he'll be back at some point. They'd also drafted Emeka Egbuka, Bucky Irving, Kate Otten at tight end. These are all guys that in any given week could be the number 1 scorer of any skill position guy for sure. But they also are guys that could have some lower overall tier games. Henry's pretty safe as is. Of course, he's a little bit older, but he's a workhorse. I still think Henry's going to be a stud this year for fantasy.
Fair enough. I was just retweeting the link one more time to let people know we're doing. Okay, so I got 1 receiver, 1 running back, 1 quarterback. It looks like everybody is pretty high on wide receiver. Everyone's got 2 except for me. So let me go to the wide receiver board here. Adams, no. Not getting another Southern California guy. Zay Flowers, Devontae Smith, Olave. You know what? I think I'm okay waiting on wide receiver. Who could I pair with Bijan Robinson? I don't want to go James Cook and Josh Allen. Kamara feels risky. I do like Joe Mixon. Omari and Hampton's not bad. Actually, you know who I like? Where the fuck is he? Oh no. Did he get taken? Where's Chase Brown? Did Chase Brown get taken?
Taken a round and a half ago, 3-3.
Fuck, that's who I wanted. That's who I wanted.
You would have been a steal at 410, that's for sure.
Shit. Shit. Now I hate my team. Oh no. You know, I guess I gotta go Joe Mixon. And then this is hard. I'm gonna go Pickens.
What's your feelings about Pickens going to Dallas?
Dude, I love it. I'm a big Pickens guy. I've always been someone who fought the people who would argue that George Pickens doesn't get enough separation. And if you really broke down the data and the stats and the analytics, blah, 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 blah. I think there are guys who can play the wide receiver position that don't need separation. And he's one of them. I think he's just one of those freaks that, like, it doesn't matter how well he's guarded. He just has a sense of where the ball is. Sorry, I'll get that screen up for everybody else. But I like George Pickens. Now, off the field, is he a head case? Is he a problem? Sure. You know, I'm not defending that part, but just as a football player, I think this was a great move for the Cowboys. Are they going to have an issue with it, with his, I don't know, just his personality and like potential, fits that he throws if he's not getting the ball or not getting accurate throws or CD's hogging? I don't know, but I don't think so. I think this is a perfect fit for the Cowboys offense. I think he's going to have a good year. I'm just really interested to see, like, I just don't know what to expect from the Cowboys offense in general with Schottenheimer. And then also I was reading that the offensive coordinator that hired, and granted, they're not going to be, he's not going to be calling plays or anything, but sorry, I thought I turned the sound off. I don't know if that's annoying, but he came from the Cardinals and they were like very run heavy. Like that's his mindset mentality. So I was almost worried, like, oh no, are the Cowboys going to try to run the ball, like the fucking Raiders did last year for some stupid reason? But I'm looking at this depth chart. I'm looking at this running back room. There's no way in hell they aren't going to be airing the ball out. So I think Pickens is going to have a real opportunity to be catching 3 to 4 deep balls a game. And that conversion rate could be very scary. I don't know how many receptions we're talking about. Like, what do you set his line every week? Is it 4.5? Is it 5.5? So
it's tough to even say that, because I agree with you. It's like, what does a Brian Schottenheimer offense look like? If we go back to Marty Schottenheimer's offense, then we would say, shit, the running back probably going to have value because he loves to run the football. And do we really expect kind of like a guy who's viewed as a lot more conservative a coach to really be airing it out that deep? I don't know. Like, I could see both him and Lamb having big years, but it's like, if that's the case, then Dak's probably going to have a huge year, both real life and fantasy life. So he'd be a good fantasy QB. He might be a guy you could look at like comeback player of the year.
Yep.
I mean, there's probably some opportunities available for sure.
I'm going to be on Dak's passing yards. I took him 10-1 to have the most passing yards in the NFL. He's got some real tough competition. So I'm not like necessarily advocating that that's like my favorite bet by any means, but I like his passing yards. I think Dak is going to have a big year, and this is certainly the year he has to prove it. I mean, if Dak Prescott does not have a good year, I don't know if you saw like the Pardon My Take rankings of quarterbacks, but there are a lot of people who disrespect Dak Prescott in the NFL. He has got to take that as bulletin board material, and this has got to be the year he steps up. Even if it doesn't translate into wins necessarily, but like the Cowboys, even if they go 8-9, it's got to be like 5 of those 9 losses were like, close 1-score competitive games where you don't think of the Cowboys as being putrid and pathetic. I think their win total 7.5, so that puts them over. But yeah, I'm not even a Cowboys fan. I'm not like hoping for the best or anything like that. I'm not anti-Dak, but I'm in on Dak Prescott this year for sure. All right, tell me about what you just took. So you went 1-2 with Jalen Hurts. I love Jalen Hurts as a fantasy quarterback. And then you went with Aaron Jones. That's a really interesting one. we have a guy in our following, guy in Cornfields. He's pretty sharp. He's a Vikings fan. He likes Jordan Mason touchdowns this year. And I believe Jordan Mason's running back from the Niners that the Vikings signed and could kind of be a little, insurance if Aaron Jones is just slowing down, getting a little bit older. What do you think about that?
So the reason I took Hurts, again, looking at the board, I think him and Mahomes were far and away the two best available. There was no chance either of them were making it back to me. I had to make a decision. Do I want one of them? Do I want to wait? Decided to pull trigger on Hurts. Great fantasy quarterback, 14 rush touchdowns last season. Obviously, he's got Saquon Barkley in the backfield, but they're still calling the tush push for him. Aaron Jones, I debated him or Chuba Hubbard. And the reason I went with Jones is pretty simple. No one hands off the ball like J.J. McCarthy.
I don't think Steak is in here right now. Steak is also a Vikings fan, but I know Pranav is in here and he's a Michigan guy. I love that you just said that. So, okay, wait. So continue. Is there anything else, or is that why you're in on Aaron Jones?
Well, it was mostly because of the board available. I think that, yes, they do have Jordan Mason, they have other guys, but I still think that Jones, when he's healthy, is going to be a guy that gets probably like a 60 to 70% run share. And, there's Connor and Hubbard also there, but like Montgomery splitting carries, Pacheco not loving his situation. Harvey's a rookie. Just felt like Jones is the guy who has the biggest upside of all these guys because, we've seen him have a giant workload in the past that if he is playing well and they are having a lot of success running the ball, there's no reason why he couldn't have a good year. So I just think it was kind of the upside based on the rest of the board available. And anytime I can get in a dig on JJ McCarthy, I'm going to take it.
Okay. I don't know how you feel about this. I actually think these are pretty decent options for running back this late in the game. So we're in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're in round 6, the end of round 6. I'm looking at RJ Harvey, who is a very exciting running back behind one of the best offensive lines in football. I'm also looking at Tyrone
and a coach who has produced top fantasy running back in Alvin Kamara. So if he does play the same way, then very high upside. But he also is a rookie with other guys in the picture.
So Tyrone Tracy is a very fun player. I don't know that the Giants are going to be great or they're going to be ahead in games and maybe they have to abandon the run a little bit more often than not, but I like Tyrone Tracy.
Giants also have Cam Scatterbo from Arizona State.
That's true. Now I'm in on the Titans this year. I am in on the Titans. I like Cam Ward. He is my offensive rookie of the year. I like him in this offense. Tony Pollard, when everybody thought he was just going to fall off the face of the earth last year, he kind of showed up. He ran hard. He scored some touchdowns.
It was the only bright spot in that Titans team.
Yeah, so I'm wondering what I'm going to do here between these three. And you know what? Probably a bad idea. I'm going to fucking go Tony Pollard. And then I'd like to go back to the wide receiver room. I will go ahead and take geez. Now, you know what? I do need a tight end. Who's available for tight end? Oh, I like Jonnu Smith. Give me Jonnu Smith. That's a fun player.
Now that he's reunited with Arthur Smith.
Yep. But will you guys stop bitching about 10-man so Mickey Mouse? I don't even think I think I picked 12 and it just auto selected to 10. It doesn't even count. These motherfuckers, everybody will bitch about anything. Jeff Matthews says, Roschon Johnson is a deep flyer. Ben Johnson benched Swift in his first year in Detroit and could fill that Jamal Williams role when he scored a shit ton of TDs.
Could also be Kyle Monungai from Rutgers, who the Bears drafted in the 7th round. I think they were pretty high on him from what I've been hearing from training camp.
Don't sleep on Judy, coming from the Cleveland Browns fan. You don't fucking say, huh? Yeah, I bet. Exactly why Jordan Mason to lead the league in TDs is easy. Yeah, followed up with a laughing. Smith over Kelsey is a wild move. Somebody took Smith over Kelsey?
You took Smith over Kelsey.
Dude, fuck Kelsey. Fuck Kelsey. You talking to me? Travis Kelsey? I don't want anything to do with Kelsey in fantasy. Get the fuck out of here. Have you seen? No way. No way. He's posh. He's posh. I don't want that. I want Jonnu Smith. He's a bad motherfucker. And they traded for him. They want him. They're going to use him. I love it. Jonnu capped me with the Steelers. Now, you guys don't fucking know ball. Also, this is a pretend league, and it doesn't matter. So if you want to go Kelsey over there, that's why we do this. You know that you might be able to have Kelsey in a 10-person league. If you're in 12, then fucking do the math. You know what I mean? 40-minute Taj rant. Okay, that's enough. Johnny Catmeet, I already read that. But Jordan Mason was just going to say offensive player of the year and leader in TDs. That is insane to say offensive player of the year. What the fuck could the number on that be? I like bold bets. If Snowman, are you a big futures guy? I love futures bets in the NFL.
I do like futures. I haven't been as fond of win total futures recently, ever since I moved to a legal state, because it's just tough for me to be like, well, let me tie up a bunch of units for 5 months.
Sure.
But when it's a credit book and you don't have to settle up until the end, I'll hammer the board. But in terms of the higher odds futures, yes, we'll definitely. I was looking at one, actually. I'd love to hear your opinion on this. I saw this today on my stream. Cooper Flagg, defensive player of the year, plus 50,000.
So I do have a thought on this. You switched up on me with basketball. Kyle, are you available? The clock is ticking. I am curious who goes late. Okay, thank you. I do have a thought on this. I remember it was Wemby that came in the league, and everybody was like, oh, take him defensive player of the year. He's very tall. He's long. He'll block shots. I want to say maybe people were also advocating for this for Chet Holmgren. Did either of those players win defensive player of the year?
I don't think so. Wemby might have, but I don't think so.
Here's my thing. If you want Cooper Flagg to be defensive player of the year, does he block shots? I know he's big. He does.
But the thing is, with odds like that, you don't even need to win the award. If he moves up to plus 10,000, you have a 5x cash out. I sometimes view futures almost like stocks, where it's like, if you can buy low, you don't even need to cash the entire thing to sell high.
So so I see what you're saying. This is actually a very interesting conversation. You're saying that you are looking to go out there and find some long shots that just get themselves in the mix and increase your odds for a cash out so you can just get some return on your investment. You don't even necessarily care to win the bet.
Correct.
Do I have that right?
I mean, you would like them to win the bet, but all they need to do is get in the mix, give yourself a positive cash out, and then you can make whatever decisions you want from there.
Yeah, that's the thing too. People have talked about this. It's not a bad strategy.
I do that too with super long shots. I plan to cash out, let one ride, cash the other out for 5 at 10x value.
I just remembered this. You fucking love Cooper Flagg. But you know what, though? I got to give you your flowers because nobody gives me my flowers when Taj Bradley was going over all of his props last year for 7 straight games. No big deal. I do recall when you were streaming and you were during March Madness, your go-to, your bread and butter was Duke first half. They were your wagon, weren't you?
I think they covered like 13 consecutive games or something.
Absolutely insane. You know what? I got to give you a lot of credit because as a sports bettor, this is got to be one of my worst traits. I have such a hard time where if I win money on things like a specific bet or a specific team or player, I always think to myself, oh, I don't want to get greedy and give that unit back. Like I'll take it and I'll move elsewhere. But then, you look away and you go back and it's like, oh, I was on Yandy Diaz over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. And then I look back, it's like, oh, by the way, he has an 8-game hit streak, multi-game hit streak. And he would have hit 8 times in a row. It's so fucking stupid. Pranav using the full 2 minutes. You gotta love that, Pranav. You're probably distracted. Come on. I like that. That's very fun. We've lost the plot. I've done that multiple times with corn tweets. Degen, you can change the time per pick and the settings if you want to speed things up. I absolutely want to speed things up. Now you fucking tell me. I asked you 25 minutes ago how to do it. Hold on. Where do I go to settings? Is this settings? And draft settings. Yeah. Snake, scoring, teams, 10. Oh, here we go. 30 seconds. Yeah, 30 seconds. Good, right?
It's a shame, too, because I really wanted Devontae Smith as I have Jalen Hurts. I actually love the strategy of pairing up a receiver and the quarterback. What are your thoughts about that for fantasy football?
Man, that's a really good one. Oh, you know what? Let me pull this back up so people can see that. Guys, give Unc a break. Dude, I fucking love quantitative eating. This is the guy with like more than half a brain. You have half a brain, by the way. I'm talking about the people in the chat. Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I don't like it because I'm trying to think. I did this not that long ago. Oh, I did it last year. I had Kyler Murray and I had James Cook. I'm sorry, James Conner. And
Well, I think there's a big difference between the QB and the running back and the QB and one of his receivers. Because if you have Hurts and Devontae Smith, for example, every Devontae Smith touchdown is actually now worth double points. Every catch is worth double yards. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood the question, but I was trying to update the settings. You're saying QB and wide receiver duo.
Correct. Or tight end, but
love it. Had that as well. Had Jared Goff with Jameson Williams. Absolutely love it. You remember the Bears game? Sorry, but I know that you're a Bears fan. So
I do remember that game
in Chicago. That when that happened, it was early in the game. That set the tone for that week. I almost didn't even have to stress my fantasy matchup. So also one year I had Chris Godwin with I don't know if I didn't have Tom Brady. I don't remember who I had, but anyways, I had Godwin as the wide receiver and whoever the quarterback was for the Bucs that year. And it was Jameis. It was the last year of Jameis as a Buc.
Anytime you compare Jameis with a receiver, it's just free fantasy coin.
And that year I had Jameis to have the most passing yards in the NFL, 14-1, no big deal. That was Bruce Arians' first year coaching. Had a feeling he was going to be great. However, he was not great statistically. He had it was the first quarterback with 30 plus touchdowns and 30 plus interceptions. And that was the end of the Jameis era. But fantasy wise, he was excellent. And I had Chris Godwin there. So anytime he hit Chris Godwin for five catches, 96 yards and 2 touchdowns, it was an excellent week. So what I'm getting at is just to prove to your point, I have been that type of fantasy player and I like that.
Mm-hmm. Another pro auction point, instead of having the auto draft take the guy you want in front, if this was an auction, I could have made sure, okay, I got Jalen Hurts, I'm getting a receiver to pair with him. You can guarantee that happens too.
You know what? I'm going to put my money where my mouth. Well, no, there's no money going into this. It doesn't really matter. I think Jacoby Myers is going to be a sleeper. That's my sleeper.
The birthday boy. I love it.
It's his birthday?
No, it's just me and my friend's nickname for him.
Oh, okay. All right. I've got Bijan. I've got Joe Mixon. I've got Tony Pollard. I've got a tight end. What should I draft right now? I guess I should probably go.
I mean, you've got 3 running backs and only 3 receivers. I would look to get more receiver depth.
More receiver depth? Okay. How much time do I have? 3 seconds. Oh, Jesus. Calvin Ridley. So
hard with the Titans. You got Pollard and Ridley. You might have to get and target Cam Ward as your backup QB.
So let's go look at the board real quick and assess how things are playing out for the fantasy brains out there.
So the top guy on the board is Travis Hunter. Very interesting thought here. What are your thoughts on Hunter from a fantasy and even gambling perspective for next season?
I think it is the definition of gambling in fantasy football, taking a guy like Travis Hunter, because high risk, high reward. They traded up for him for a reason. Liam Cohen's a pretty good offensive mind. Not a huge sample size there, but I do believe in him. I think Trevor Lawrence has potential still to put up numbers. Not saying the Jags are going to win games. And they're starving for a superstar wide receiver in the city of Jacksonville. Travis Hunter could very well be that guy. Do I have the balls to take a chance on him? Not necessarily. I can't tell you I do, but I respect anybody that does, if that makes sense. So I don't have a strong opinion on Travis Hunter, but I'm rooting for him to be successful. Can't really see him playing too much defensively in the NFL. So I'd have to imagine he's going to be primarily a wide receiver. I don't know if that's right or wrong.
I kind of see it being the opposite. I think if he has to go one way or the other, it's corner. I mean, that's
really
his entire career. That's why he commits to Dion. Dion personally was coaching him up at corner. And they also have Brian Thomas, so it's not like they don't have another
that's true.
receiver to pair up and put on the board. But I know he wants to do both. So
hands up. You're right. Brian Thomas Jr. is a fucking star. My bad. So Travis Hunter wants to do both?
Yes.
I just don't see that happening.
It's certainly going to be tough to see from like an endurance and stamina perspective, but that was also an argument people gave last year in college, and he had no issues with it. The guy is an incredible athlete. So I actually do believe he has the ability to do that. Of course, the good thing about being receiver is if you're not touching the ball, you're not really getting hit. So at least he's not taking like that extra wear and tear. But I do agree with you. It's very high risk. And I don't even know if it's high reward, because what's the upside for Travis Hunter? It's not like, best case scenario is even going to be a top 10 receiver as the number 2 guy on his team. Unless you're getting some sort of credit for his defensive stats, he's definitely a stay away from me.
Okay. Well, good point. Your opinion is better than mine, I think. But Who is the Jags number 2 wide receiver?
Him.
Well, no, if it's not him.
If it's not him,
Yeah, who's your competition outside of Brian Thomas Jr.?
They still have no. They don't have.
They don't have Christian Kirk. I don't think they have Gabe Davis.
All right, let me look at their.
De'Ami Brown. Yeah.
De'Ami Brown.
You take Allen in the second, you have to stack him with Shakir. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Completely agree with QE here. Take this slightly, but I would stomp you in a week 1 matchup. Are you talking about me? Bart, Jameis on the bench late in the year is how you win a fantasy championship. Yep. All right. So are we drafting 2 QBs yet or not yet? No, let me see. What does everybody have? I have 3 running backs. It looks like some people have 4. Do I still not have enough wide receivers? I have 4 wide receivers. I guess I'll go running back. All right, let's go sneaky here. No. Oh, do you like cuffs for running backs?
Who?
Like the handcuffs, so you get the starter and the backup?
It depends on the guy. It just like if it's a super injury prone guy like Christian McCaffrey, yes. Am I going out of my way to draft Zach Charbonnet if I'm getting Kenneth Walker? Not necessarily. If you spend a super high investment, like would I go after the backup running back in Atlanta if I was you? Yes, because if Bijan's out, like you don't want to get no value from that. But like, would I take the backup for Tennessee? Probably not.
Is who is the backup in Atlanta? Is it Algie? No, it's not Algie Crumpler. Who is it?
A 10-year-old tight end, right?
Yeah, no. What's his name? Why did I almost fuck that up? What's his name?
Tyler Algier.
No, that's what
it is.
Tyler Algier. It's so similar. Tyler.
So yeah, like if you're drafting Bijan, I would take Algier. If you're drafting Saquon Barkley, I would definitely take Kenneth Gainwell or whoever their backup is. If you're drafting McCaffrey, absolutely take the backup. But like Gibbs and Montgomery, you're spending a lot to get Montgomery at a high price, especially if you're not going to play him that often. I just think it's a kind of a case by case basis.
I love this pick right here from Alex. Tyler Warren late.
Yeah, that was a great pick.
Yeah, excellent pick. Evan Ingram. I'm surprised Hovey didn't take Evan Ingram. Hovey is Evan Ingram slurper. Jake went with 2 tight ends. Let's see what you got. You got Travis Kelce. That's a shit pick. Gene T, Aaron Jones, Jalen Warren is nice. I think my sleeper in fantasy. Actually, no, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to take him.
I like it.
It's Caleb Johnson from Iowa. I love him.
He went 3 rounds ago, unfortunately.
He did? Caleb Johnson went
DC bets in the 9th.
Shut the fuck up. He sure did. DC? You didn't take him first, did you?
He took him before Warren, yes.
You went Caleb Johnson before Warren? I'm actually shocked. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm looking at the other selections here. Baker, that's a good one. K. Hewitt and Kyler. Josh Downs is going to be an interesting player. Where's your head at? Or let's talk about your picks real quick, late. So you just went Keon Coleman and Golden. I feel like one of these guys is going to be good and the other one's going to be a bust.
That's fine. This late in the draft, all I care about is hitting on 1 or 2 of these late-ass picks. That's all you need, lottery tickets.
Yep. Who, if you had to pick one, I loved Keon Coleman in college at FSU. I thought it was a pretty good pickup from the Bills. I was just super underwhelmed with his performance last year, but it was a rookie year. I'll give him another year. I'm not going to write him off yet. Golden, I just don't know what to think about because it's so deep. The depth at the wide receiver position for the Packers is.
Here's my opinion, and I might be a big hater because I'm a Bears fan. I think they all kind of suck. The current guys on Green Bay, like who's the best one? Christian Watson.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think they're all just kind of mid. So anybody new coming in, they spent a 1st-round pick to get him. This is the first-round pick receiver they've had at least since before Aaron Rodgers was there. So they clearly, view him pretty highly. And of course, he's the fastest man in the history of the combine. So like there's some definite high upside with Golden. And if he's a bust, then who cares? You took him with your 4th to last pick. He's my 6th receiver right now, just a high upside guy.
Yeah. Fair enough. And there goes Jordan Mason.
There he goes.
Yeah. CJ Stroud went pretty late. Burrow and Stroud, not bad. McBride and Kittle, I just realized. K. Hewitt went McBride and Kittle 1-2 with the tight ends. One of those guys is going to be a beast. I think Kittle's due for a big year. kind of like the running backs here. Let's go back to Pranav's team late. He went with Tyrone Tracy, Travis Hunter, who you're not really high on. I don't know what to think about Ayuk, but you have to imagine that the Niners are going to be out for blood this year. I mean, it's like do or die from them. They just paid Brock. Even if CMC is healthy, I mean, the wide receivers are still probably going to get numbers. Brock's going to put up numbers. So I don't hate Ayuk. I would be maybe more interested in taking a flyer on Pearsall. I don't know how you guys feel about him.
I like Pearsall. You know, you talked earlier about Taj Bradley as a good guy you can't quit. Well, that for me is Kyle Shanahan. I bet on him every fucking year somehow. I bet on him all 3 years he's in the Super Bowl. Yes, that means I'm 0-3 in those Super Bowls as he blew the 28-3 lead with Atlanta when I was in Atlanta. Jimmy Garoppolo overthrows a wide open Emmanuel Sanders, and then San Francisco loses in overtime in that other Super Bowl. But I always like San Francisco. I've always liked Kyle Shanahan. I've always liked his offenses. I'm a Brock Purdy guy. I'm a CMC guy. I like the team in general. I do think they'll be out for blood. Ayuk is certainly dealing with some injury stuff right now, which is the biggest risk, but it's certainly a steal in the 10th round because even if he doesn't get healthy till the second half of the season, if he can get to, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 level by that point, well, that's a great investment for a late pick.
Well said. I went with Cam Scatabo and Braylon Allen.
High upside guys. I like it.
Yeah, high upside. I mean, obviously, I never make wagers or try to do anything based off of injuries, but I was a big Braylon Allen guy at Wisconsin. I don't know how you felt about him. I took a flyer.
He's 19. People forget.
He's 19 years old.
No, he was 19 his junior year or something, which was always he's a little bit older than that now.
I was gonna say, I think one of these guys could be fun. The Giants and the Jets need fun. They need excitement. You gotta let some of these.
Did you see the Giants officially named Russell Wilson the Week 1 starter? Nothing gets more fun than that.
Oh God. Oh jeez. Yeah, I'm not a Russell Wilson guy. All right, we're coming up to the end here. I'm trying to think whose team do I like the most. Ooh, Higher Destiny got Loveland late in the draft. Don't hate that. Penix as a backup quarterback. What do you think about Penix this year?
I mean, he's a Hoosier. You're asking the wrong guy. I'm all in on Penix. I'm all in on Penix. Complete stud. There's a reason they took him 8th overall with Kirk Cousins on a $100 million a year deal. He's a beast. He's a gunslinger. He can throw the ball anywhere, all over the field. His main concerns, of course, his injury history. He had 2 ACLs during his time at IU. Mm-hmm. But I also think he learned and responded from it really well. Like if you watched him at Washington, which I did very often, he basically didn't take a hit the entire season. They had one of the best offensive lines in the entire country. But like if you're watching even closer, the second he would get close to being hit, he threw the ball away. It was like watching, Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. If you remember back in the day, they wouldn't get sacked, not because they're fast, but because anytime they were close, they're just throwing it away and making sure that they live to fight another down. And that's what Penix Jr. does as well. He's on a team with great offensive weapons, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. There's every reason to be optimistic about the state of Atlanta. And they have the guy, they have the leader. He's a winner. He had Indiana ranked 12th in the country before last season. That was the best season, basically, of IU history. Definitely high on him. Would have loved to get him there if Higher Destiny didn't swoop. Damn you, Destiny.
Trying to think of a late sleeper here. Do we like Josh Palmer, Adonai Mitchell? Ooh, I don't hate Tyler Lockett there. Dontavian Wicks. All right, I'm going to go Josh Palmer. And that is it for my team.
I like Palmer because you're pairing him with Allen.
Oh, that's right.
I assume Shakir went, right? He must have went early. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Khalil
Shakir
went 8, right in the very smack middle of the draft. I don't love my team. I'll just be honest with you. I don't love my team. Looking here, so I like the running backs. What do you think of Rico Dowdle? I mean, I'm a big Chuba Hubbard guy, but I thought Dowdle showed some flashes in Dallas. I was almost a little surprised I didn't try to keep on hold on to him.
Doesn't Carolina also have Jonathan Brooks?
Yeah, they do.
They just got a lot of mouths to feed.
Yep, that's a very good point. Okay. Well, that's it for the fantasy football draft, mock draft. That's the first mock I did this year. Is that the first mock you did this year?
That was the first mock. I'm actually very satisfied with my team. If this were a team we were actually rolling with, I'd be very happy with it.
Gene T, Aaron Jones, Jalen Warren, Ramondre Stevenson is a sneaky good one. That's a sneaky good one. Who's the backup running back for the Patriots? Do we know?
We drafted Travion Henderson from Ohio State.
That's right.
But I think that he'll be used primarily as a third down back to start off. So Stevenson should still get the goal line work, I would guess.
If you click, what does that say? If you click the up arrow in the bottom right, you can look at everyone's rosters. Roster. Oh, I see. Okay. So Josh Allen, Bijan, Joe Mixon, Lad McConkey, George Pickens, Jonnu Smith, Tony Pollard, Jacoby Myers. I'm fucking all of you up, first and foremost. I just want to make that super clear.
I mean, if your receivers come through, you got a great team.
Yeah, let's go to DC bets. DC, Brock, Josh Jacobs, Breece Hall, Chase Brown, Ingram. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Because he waited very deep on quarterback too.
Mahomes, Barkley, Chase. Woof. I like Chase Brown. That's probably my favorite player that I didn't get. I like Chase Brown, Drake London, Rice.
I like this team a lot. I like the combo. You got Mahomes with Rice, upside tight end and Warren. I like that squad.
Hovey, Dak, Jameer, Bucky, Terry. Well, Terry's a little risky, but I'm assuming he's going to be signed and be just fine. Cortland, sure. Brock Bowers. Listen, I'd love to chirp Hovey, but I think he's got a pretty good team there as well.
Yeah. It's a very solid team.
Jake, let's see. Burrow, JT. I've seen some smart guys on Twitter say that they are obsessed with Jonathan Taylor this year. Kyron Williams, always a fan of. Justin Jefferson, Olave, Laporta. Yeah, I like it. I like things about it for sure. Let's go to K. Hewitt, Baker, Kamara. I don't like any of the Saints this year. Connor, I'm a big Connor guy. CD Lamb, Brian Thomas, that's lovely. Trey McBride should have a big year, and George Kittle and Montgomery. Sure. Let's go to let's see. Scroll down here. Destiny, Caleb Williams, Derrick Henry, Omari and Hampton. This is a risky team right here.
Yeah, this is another high upside or last place type thing.
Yeah. Boomer.
I like Hampton a lot, though. I mean, we like Harbaugh running backs. Najee Harris blew his eye out.
Absolutely. Yep. Lamar Jackson, Achane should be an interesting guy this year. Chuba Hubbard, Neighbors, JSN. I don't know. I'm not in on Sam Darnold. Kind of out on the Seahawks. I'm going to stay away from them. Mark Andrews. Yeah. Oh, you paired up.
But at least with Jackson Smith and Jigba, they did lose DK Metcalf. So he's now like the undisputed number one guy there.
Good point. All right. Let's check Pranav's team. Love Jane Daniels, CMC, Tyrone Tracy. Fun player. Still a bit risky, though, to have him as your running back number 2. Puka and Marv.
Tracy looks like the weakest starter of any of the teams we've seen so far.
Yeah. You got to be. I'm into both these players, but it's definitely risky. Hawkinson, I'm a little over Hawkinson personally. DJ Moore. Yeah, Pranav, I don't know. I thought you started really well, but now that I'm seeing your team, I can't say that it's my favorite, but I like things about it. And then let's go to Snowman. Snowman went Jalen Hurts, Genty, Aaron Jones, Nico Collins, Tyreek Hill. You got potential. I'm not really into Travis Kelce. Love your depth here with Garrett Wilson and Ted McMillan. I'm in on GT, so I don't know how I can't say no to that.
Yeah, I like my squad for sure. I think there's a bunch of good teams there. I liked mine. I liked DC Bats. I liked Alex F's. I liked Toby's. There's a lot of really.
I think I like Alex F's the most. Congratulations, Alex F. You have won the meaningless mock draft Pikkit Happy Hour Fantasy Football League. Snowman, I think, did we just lose you? Oh, you're back.
I'm still here.
I just realized it's 6:07, so we ran over time. But thank you very much for hanging out and talking ball and talking fantasy football with us. Where can we find you? Please tell everybody in the chat when you stream and where you stream.
Yeah, I stream on Twitch pretty much every single day. I try to go live around noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Some days it's a little bit different. We're in the summer right now, but once we get into football, it'll be certainly more regimented. Snowman Sports on Twitch. You can follow me on Twitter at Snowman_sports. And if you want to throw me a follow on TikTok at Snowman Sports as well, definitely planning on doing a lot more TikTok content as we get into the college football and NFL season.
Awesome. Snowman, thanks.
Thank you for having me on. Ton of fun being here. Great to have a few drinks and chop it up.
Likewise. Jesus Luzardo, good luck to you. Taj Bradley, good luck to me.
Let's get it.
Everybody in the chat, thanks for hanging out. That was fun. It felt good to Pranav solid with Hawk. Don't kiss his ass.
He said Pranav sold with Hawk.
Sold with Hawk.
Yeah,
Yeah, solid with Hawk. I agree. Great happy hour. Yep. It felt good to talk fantasy football. We're close. We'll keep doing it. Snowman, good shit. I'll see you on your stream tomorrow. Make sure to give you a rate or whatnot. And good luck on your bets tonight.
Absolutely. You as well. Thank you for having me.
Nope. I removed him too early. All right, Snowman. Check you later. And everybody, again, thank you for hanging out. If you're in here, subscribe to the Pikkit YouTube page. We'll see you next week. I will be streaming tomorrow morning. Then I'm on a flight to Orlando, but we should be good for tomorrow and Friday. Thank you again to Snowman for hanging out. Good luck on all your wagers. We will check you next week. I don't know if it's going to be the same time or same day, but pay attention and we'll let you know. All right, peace.